Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and welcome to Cataclysm Bright Nights. This is a fork, a branch off of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. The idea of Bright Nights is to strip away a lot of the recent sort of like really hardcore realistic aspects of Dark Days Ahead. Basically whatever the creators of Bright Nights didn't care for in Dark Days Ahead. They're stripping that away and going in their own direction, which is a bit more like sci-fi, is a bit more fantastical, and is just a bit more fast and loose. So some of the things that they've removed include the sort of pocket aspects. Um, so like in Dark Days Ahead, it's very realistic with like keeping track of an item's length and its volume, and you have to actually store it in places across your body, and you have to have correct pockets for all that. Yeah, in Bright Nights, it's just your body can hold a certain amount of volume. Um, Based on your clothing and things like that, and just it's more like Skyrim or something. Proficiency's also gone. That's a relatively recent thing in Dark Days Ahead, where you'd have to develop proficiencies with different crafting aspects and things like that, or different combat aspects. So you'd have to develop a proficiency for woodworking, and if you didn't have that proficiency, anything you would do with woodworking would take far longer and be more likely to fail. So that's gone as well. Freezing, which really we've never encountered on video here because I've never made it to winter and all that. There's plenty of other little changes, just designed to make it more fun. Now that's sort of fun is kind of a nebulous, sort of a debatable concept. Is Bright Nights actually more fun than Dark Days Ahead? Hard to say. I haven't really spent much time with it. This is our first big dive into it. I've been holding off because until now they didn't support a graphical tile overmap, so you couldn't use like the tile set for the overmap. You had to use like the old school overmap, which I just didn't care for that much. It wasn't a big hurdle, but finally we can use our tile set now, so that's all good. Yeah, so this, what we're going to be doing is pretty much until I die, unless I die in this video, but hopefully not. Until I die, or the actual goal that I would like to set is for us to clear out a lab. Labs in Cataclysm are sort of like the mid to end game, like loot spots. You know, that's where you find the biggest, baddest enemies, turrets, but you also find like high end loot. You get the CBMs that you can install on yourself to, you know, cyberpunk yourself. You find the mutagenic serums to become mutated, and the labs are the big endgame stuff. I've never cleared out one, but I got close once. Turns out that the bottom floor of labs contains some pretty nasty shit, and I was far too cocky at the time. But yeah. So, the world that we have here, Ellis Grove. The mods that we're using, nothing too insane. Most of it is just item addition stuff that adds new items. We have Arcana, we have Magicalism. A lot of the other stuff just adds like I don't really ever look. I don't ever add the mods that add like crazy high end stuff. Like you can get lightsaber mods and just like high end laser weapons and all that kind of stuff. I usually go for more the early mid stuff because that's where I spend most of my time. So pneumatic stuff, steampunk stuff, makeshift stuff, medieval stuff, all that kind of things. Um, yeah. We are using stats through kills, which is a controversial choice. It's gonna make the game easier. It absolutely is. So by default, you don't level up your stats pretty much at all throughout the game. Maybe through mutagens or things like that. A lot of people play with stats through skills, whereas your skills level up, they automatically bump up certain stats. Stats through kills, I think, is the least used because that turns it more into like an ARPG where you're just incentivized to kill everything. But I kind of like that because I tend to kill everything anyways. A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but definitely what I've read, some people are very just, they try to kill as little as possible. They just try to sneak in. They go in at night into raids on towns. They'll sneak around and loot what they can, and then they'll like get in a car and just move on to the next town. Whereas I like to be the person that just clears out the entire fucking town. But that's really the thing you got to learn about Cataclysm. I think you hear it when you first start, but it doesn't really sink in for a while. There is no winning Cataclysm. There might be a way. Bright Nights, there might be a way to win. I think I might remember that, but normally there's no way to win There's no end game screen that you're like, oh yes, I've won, I've completed. It's not like Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup where there is a very clear win condition. It's not about the destination in Cataclysm. It's all about the journey. So, however you want to play, however you that's the thing that I was like, if you watched all these videos so far, when I started getting into Krav Maga and all that, it's like, you think like, why would I ever start with like some handicap start in the wilderness or with no clothes or anything? I could start in full SWAT uniform with Krav Maga and just clear out a whole town day one. But it's like, okay, I mean, you didn't win the game. It doesn't matter, And so having the troubled start and surviving through that is, oftentimes more interesting. So, let's head over and make a character. I was surprised by how few errors with this big mod list. With like Dark Days Ahead, I'd get like 30 errors, but here I got like, 0. So that's pretty good. Right. So what I want to do a wilderness start. And I want to not just find a car and drive to an evac shelter or anything like that. I want to live in the wilderness. So we have a really, but we're not gonna start with like a shower start or anything like, where we just have nothing on us. We're gonna play sort of a wilderness survival character. So Survivor, of course, is certainly solid. There's arguments to be made. Beyond that, though, if we get further down the line, there's definitely some more. Okay, there you go. There's an error. A canned survivor. Survival kit in a can. You could do that. Vagabond. You can start with a jug, which isn't bad, and 2 fabrication. And a duffel bag, and a backpack, and a poncho. That's all around not too bad. Cost 2 points, whereas Survivor costs no points. That's solid, but we could also go for the hunter. We could start with a bow, or a crossbow. Or we could start with a trapper, which starts with some tobacco. Ideally, well, we couldn't put points into like fabrication stuff because we are going to want that. Fabrication and survival. But here's survival list. This would cost us 3 points, but look at that. Survival 4, trapping 2, fabrication 2, cooking 2, first aid 2, swimming 2, canteen, a survival knife, a light jacket, a backpack, a rope, flashlight, a lighter, smartphone. I mean, this is probably what we want. Yeah, probably what we want. So we're going to go with that. All right. Let's look at traits. So normally, you take sort of the usual lot of negative traits that aren't that negative. But let's not be too cheesy here. Um no, we don't want that. Flimsy, fragile. No, grain intolerance. Oh, we should do a junk food intolerance. Let's do that. Survivalist would not have any interest in Pop Tarts. He's out there eating pine nuts. Beyond that, we could go really extreme here and go Wayfarer, where you can never use a vehicle ever. it gives you 8 points. I've never played with it, so I guess now's a good time. And let's go strong scent, because I think this guy's gonna have a strong scent. He just wanders the land. He doesn't like society at all. I mean, we could do nomad as well. The more you spend in a place, the how many happier it makes you to be there. But having to constantly travel with no use of vehicles sounds a little rougher than I'd like. I still prefer to have a home base. And since I can't have a mobile base with Wayfarer, yeah, it's going to be a little tricky. That's part of the fun. For positive traits, probably accomplished sleeper is going to be pretty good. Animal empathy, I like that. That makes sense. I usually like fast learner. But we'll see. Uh, Outdoorsman decreases morale penalties for being wet. That's pretty good. Never become infested with internal parasites. I like that. Quick is pretty much always good. Scout might be useful. Strong stomach. We're gonna be eating some questionable shit. Or we're gonna probably be drinking some questionable shit. So, let's go with that. And let's go with tough. And then the rest we can put into stats. Pretty much just across the board. And I think skills are pretty solid. Especially survival 4 I'm happy with. So let's go with that. Yeah, we'll play random name. I don't care. Let me just save that template and let's go. Okay. I'm amongst the trees, but it's just like this little patch of trees next to the road. Okay. We did not start that far from civilization, to be sure. We're actually right next to a rural house, which isn't precisely what I wanted, but okay. There's a grape farm here. There's a mine here. That's going to be occupied. We got a sewage treatment plant down there. But I suppose we can check out this house. It would be foolish not to utilize the house. Those sound effects are pretty loud. Sure. Okay. We got some books we can sit here reading. Internal combustion fundamentals, of course. And then Ye Scott's Book of Cookery. Interesting fellow that owned this house. Okay, we got a crispy cranberry. No medicine. A teapot, PB and H sandwich, soy sauce, flour and salt, vinegar, garlic bread. So we've got very little food here. The biggest advantage we have, well, a bed, a roof, and a stove. These are all pretty big advantages. So, with that in mind, we probably want to... yeah, we probably want to get some water going. I think I start with a... I didn't start with a jug. I started with a canteen. There's a jug of vinegar here. We can probably dump that out. Okay. Let me think. So we need... the one thing I don't like about brightness that I wish they'd put in is that in Dark Days Ahead, if you just examine a countertop, you can craft on it. And it just is very quick to just do that. Whereas with this, you have to, like, open the crafting menu. Unless you can... Yeah, I can't even make a crafting spot there. And then... Yeah, you can't just activate the crafting, so it's kind of annoying. So never mind. So yeah, you just have to do this. But ideally, we'd get some sort of axe, stone axe. We would need a hammer, a heavy stick, a rock, some cordage. Most of that's pretty doable. Like, if we... if we yank this down, that gives us the heavy stick, long string, 2 sheets, nail. So we can take that. We still need the rock. Or ceramic shard. I could just bust up the toilet, but hold on. Is there... It's an empty toilet, okay. It sure sounds like I'm breaking the fucking toilet. Jesus. Here, I'll get out my survival knife. There you go. Some wax and some ceramic shards. Okay, and then we need to disassemble the long string. Okay, and then we just need a hammer, right? Yeah. Okay, so... A brick? Sure, you could use a brick. A rock in a sock. But isn't a rock a hammer? So we could just go get a rock. Or also a stone hammer would be good. Let's go find a rock. That's a larger rock. Rock. Thank you. So I haven't played Cataclysm at all in, like, I want to say a month and a half. So I'm a little rusty with keybinds. I mean, a lot of it's sort of just, like, muscle memory, but... Okay. I can't make this because I'm using the rock as a hammer and I need a rock as a resource. So we need to get a second rock. Luckily, rocks abound. Yeah, I just, you know, I just love this game. And I just, you know, I don't mind doing like some long form content here for it. Even if no one watches it, I just enjoy it and I enjoy talking about it while I play, and it's just a gem is what it is. Okay, so we still need the heavy stick now, or a plank. We could just start smashing some benches. There you go. Axe. Stone axe. Good. Heard footsteps. That's not good. That's not going to be good for anybody. I mean, it could just be a groundhog or something, but... Oh, it could be a deer. It was a deer. Alright, good. Someday we will hunt that deer, but not today. Okay, so... There it is. Good. So we have an axe. Good. So now we can actually chop down some trees. Not much tree, mind you. But trees. Alright, we got 2 logs. It's a good enough start for me. Now we can start a fire. Firewood source. Start the fire. Okay, you keep moving my logs for some reason, and then you don't do anything with it. Alright, hold on. Oh! I know what that is. The logs can't actually fit on the oven. You can't fit a whole log in an oven. You would need to chop it into planks, but I would need a better axe for that. So that's kind of a problem. That means that for now we're just gonna have to smash things into planks. Well, ideally I'd construct ideally I'd construct a crowbar and things like that, but okay. There we go. Okay, so now we have our fire. We need to get water. There should be a source of little water around here. Maybe not, though. I remember when I last tried out Bright Nights, there weren't as many, like, little pools of water in the forests as Dark Days Ahead, which is kind of funny. Pools of water in the forest are fun, damn it! Yeah, I don't see shit. That's a problem. Because there's no, like, ponds nearby or anything. Shit. Yeah, in Dark Days Ahead, you'd see, like... You would have seen, like, 5 by now. And I haven't seen 1. And all you need is 1. But I don't want to venture too close to the mine. I don't want to drag anything over here. Huh. It's a lot trickier to survive without that. Because then we have to, like, either venture out until we find a source of water, or we have to, like, set up rain catchers and shit and wait for it to rain, which could take a very long time, and we could die by then. But sure enough, I don't see shit. There's a car here. No, car battery's draining, so that's no good. It's got a Czechoslovakian semi-auto civilian pistol introduced in 1983. 10 bullets. Sure. Hunt that deer. Like I'd ever actually hit it. Fuck me. They really removed that, huh? There's a swamp, which isn't great because that's going to almost all be salt water. And there's usually nasty things in the swamp that want me dead. And there's a cougar over there. I also don't like wandering through the woods because wasps can pop out at pretty much any moment and destroy your entire soul. Saltwater, saltwater, water. Fill my jug, fill my canteen. Let's hightail it out of here. That's a bit more of a trek than I would like to get water. But it's better than nothing. Okay. Okay, dokie. So let's start a fire. And let's see here. Clean water. Should be okay with that. Yep. Yep, good. Got it all. Alright. We have water. Excellent. Alright. So it's only noon. I've already got shelter sorted, water sorted, food. A little trickier. There's some garlic bread we can eat, but right now we don't need to worry about that. So, okay, pretty good. I mean, this is certainly better than I thought this was going to go, because I have done, like, a true wilderness start, where you are literally just in the woods, middle of nowhere, and you have to just scavenge for everything. There's a military helipad here. That's pretty interesting. Well, now we probably want to focus on weaponry. So we want some sort of spear, I suppose would be pretty good. Or a bow. They have actually made bows better in Dark Days Ahead by introducing, like, weak spots. So, like, I think whenever you shoot a ranged weapon, it rolls a random number to see if, to determine, like, where you hit them. And if you hit them in, like, a vital spot, it does way more damage. But Bright Knights, especially with, like, make bows great again, our bows should be pretty damn good. So we can make a crossbow, or we can make the self bow. It's certainly not great. Or we can just make a slingshot. But we need a rubber hose. I think I'd have to destroy my fridge. Alright, so this uses archery. Crossbow uses rifles. This has a maximum range of 8. Crossbow is 6. Self bow's damage is 3. This is 30. Okay. That seems pretty good. Also a higher damage multiplier. Yep. Dispersion. Way less dispersion as well. Reload. 100 moves. Yeah, it's definitely slower to shoot and to reload and stuff. And it has less range. So it's certainly more risky, but that damage seems bonkers, to be honest. Yeah, it seems pretty bonkers. Alright, let's go for it. So we need 18 short strings or 3 long strings. So we need to tear down 3 more curtains. I'm thinking let's do it... not in here. We'll use this as our bedroom. So let's just do it in here. And we'll just close off this room and all that. Alright, that's all good. Okay. Makeshift crossbow. No. Do not worry about the deer. Alright, so we've got the makeshift crossbow. Now we just need some bolts. This makes 40 of them, apparently. And you don't have to worry about having a quiver or anything like that. It's just... if you have the volume and the weight capacity, you can hold it. There is a certain appeal to it, I'm not gonna lie. I like them both. I like them both for different reasons. I definitely like the realism of Dark Days Ahead. I mean, the whole just absurd amount of realism is what drew me to the game in the first place. But yeah, I can see the appeal of this as well. So I'm glad that there's both. I'm glad that we have both forks. Alright, let me dump off some shit here. Let me dump off the water. We'll organize everything later if we get to that point. If we survive for the day. Alright. Okay. So we've got a crossbow loaded up. Let's maybe kill a groundhog or something. There's a deer, but I'll never catch a deer. Deer are insanely hard to kill. You basically have to run them down with your car. With, like, a turret on top. A squirrel. It's not ideal. It's a little small. There are, you know, aiming penalties based on the size of a target. Groundhog, it's in the woods, though. How come you got nothing just hanging out here in the fields? Alright, we might have to venture into the woods a little bit. Always wary. I've died too many times to random wasps sitting in the woods. They might have nerfed wasps in the last month and a half, because everyone was complaining about them. Stupidly OP. We can also just spend some time scavenging in the woods. Wouldn't be the worst idea. And building a home wrecker and just breaking apart this car for metal, that would be pretty good. Okay, just want to be a little wary about where we're wandering here. Everything's in the woods. Okay. There's a chipmunk there out in the wild. There we go. Might run from us, though. A cat? I don't want to shoot a cat. That's so mean. It's such a cute little kitty. I mean, yeah, it's gone feral, but... Yes, a man's got to eat. Oh, it's running. It's too skittish. Never mind. You live today, kitty. I don't want to... Well, really, we should just spend some time practicing on a target. I shouldn't even be hunting. Yeah, it's much more boring, but it is probably the best. We should do it outside. Okay, so we're just going to set up a practice target here, and then... Yep, and we want to set our firing mode to precise automatically, and then we just fire. Now, the problem with the crossbow compared to the bow is you have to manually reload it with an extra command every time, which is annoying. Bow, it just fires. And especially without the quiver restriction, bow may have been more appealing. But the damage was just such a big difference. I don't know if that's due to make bows great again or what, but... Or something's just overtuned. I don't know. I guess. You have to do more reloading and it takes longer to reload, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so we already got rifles up to 1. Fuck. This is what you do. I mean, it's a very, very safe, easy, reliable way to practice your skills. So... 38 out of my 40 bolts broke. Because they were that fragile. So... Luckily, they're very easy to make. So we just keep making another 40. Get us up to rifle... Rifle 2 would be good. Yeah, I really have no idea when I'm even gonna upload these. There's so many other things I need to upload. So this may never see the light of day, but that doesn't bother me that much. It's the act of recording is really what appeals to me. I mean, I intend to upload it. Otherwise, this is all just pointless. But yeah, it wouldn't bother me if I never ended up doing it. Rifles at 33%. So we've got to shoot quite a bit more. It passes very little time, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video and just keep firing these. Okay. Didn't take too long. We have marksmanship at 2 and rifles at 2 now. The only problem with it is if we want to actually get into bows, I have to level up archery as well. But marksmanship applies to it all, so that's good. So, next, we really want to then level up our fabrication so that we can make better crossbows and better ammunition. So, for that... I definitely want to make a home wrecker. The reason you want a home wrecker is because it is the heaviest weapon that you can make early on. Generally. I mean, maybe with mods there might be something better that does more damage per hit, but I highly doubt it. Yeah. Home wrecker, 35 bash damage per hit. It's very slow. It's not really like a great weapon. But it's the best thing for smashing apart cars for metal. Fortunately, we have a dead car next to us, so we are going to home wreck the shit out of it. Unfortunately, we need 4 chunks of steel to make the home wrecker, so we're going to start by making the 2x sword. And we're gonna go out here and just smash the car. Yeah, I mean this will get you metal, but to break apart the frames and stuff, you're gonna want the home wrecker. So there we got some rubber, scrap metal, lumps of steel, copper wire, scrap metal. There's a chunk of steel, so that's good. Yeah. It's not ideal. We're damaging our sword in the process. Yeah. I'm not getting a whole lot of chunks. How many did I need? 3 or 4? Oh, there's another one. Yeah, that's good. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright, so we want to just haul... really just haul most of this shit, to be honest. It's all useful. Okay, haul it up here. And, good. We want to make... Oh, we need cordage. We need a lot of cordage. 8 long strings. That would be quite a good number of my curtains. Which isn't the worst thing in the world because we have... I have a rope. I could disassemble the rope. Hold on. Yeah, we could disassemble the rope into 5 short ropes. And then we can disassemble the short ropes into long strings. That's the way to do it. Whoops. Short ropes. Whoops. Buttons. Short ropes. Okay, now home wrecker. There we go. Okay, we have the home wrecker. Drop that. So now we can get loads of metal from this car. All the metal we could dream of. My strength might not be high enough. Which is a bummer. So we might not be able to get the frame just yet. But we can get the rest. I know, it's just a great sound. I'm sure you're loving it. So good. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so now what we can do, which I learned relatively recently, so we can do some auto looting. Yeah, that was correct. We want an unsorted this. So this is what we're designating to be sorted. And then we can add a custom loot filter of everything here. Save that, and then sort out the loot. And that dumps everything from that section right here, which we can just easily haul over. Isn't that swell? Okay, so now we got a pretty good amount of metal. It's 6 o'clock p.m. on day 1. We want to level up fabrication, but we want to generally level it up using stuff that we're going to utilize. So, wooden armor kit. Oh, for your vehicle, yeah. No, probably stuff like this adzy for wood sawing. Things like that are usually useful, or the shovel. Anything with, like, quality is usually good. Washboard, but, yeah, we want... Yeah, so let's do the adzy. Okay. I messed up a little bit. Fabrication is sitting on 63% there, so that's fine. What else could we make? The shovel, but you want fabrication to be the primary skill, so that wouldn't actually be good. I think you can do... let's see, you could do... P... Fabrication 2? No. Fabrication 2? No. I thought you could add a number afterwards that would restrict only the ones that require fabrication 2 or higher. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Alright, whatever. A wooden fishing spear, crude sword, blah, blah, blah. We could make another crossbow. Alright, what am I missing, though? Oh, we don't have a screwdriver. Get that going. We could also construct some stuff in the construction menu. Make a wooden shield if we had some leather. Quarterstaff. Really, you need 2 leather patches for a quarterstaff. I don't know if I remember that. Yeah, leather's gonna be tricky without, like, you know, butchering an animal and getting pelts and things. There's, like, no clothes in this cabin. No, we don't have any bones. Eventually, yeah, we're just gonna have to start hunting stuff. Hand drill, that would be fine, but we need a pipe. A sail. I mean, just look at how much shit there is. Even at Fabrication 2. Look at how many things are in our recipe list. It's just nuts. And that's because I think a lot of mods add things where they don't, like, give them high restrictions to make. They're just like, ah, fuck it, make it a Fabrication 1. Just let them make an improvised pipe bomb. I mean, you don't need any sort of skills to make that. Anybody. Fabrication 1. Fabrication 1, that's it. I feel like me in real life, I have Fabrication 1. I could not make an improvised pipe bomb without killing myself. So it's a little ridiculous. Knife spear would be very good, though. I would like a knife spear. So for that, we would need the drilling. So let me just see. What's my best bet for drilling? Probably... Fuck, either a bone glue or a pipe. I don't know if I can get pipes. And I can't deconstruct anything because I don't have a screwdriver. So let me look at a screwdriver. We can make that because we've got plenty of steel. I don't know why there's 2 recipes. One requires more scrap metal, one requires a string. Sure. Okay, so we got the screwdriver. So what am I missing then for deconstructing? So many recipes, man. So many. We need pry. We need a prying tool. We need a makeshift crowbar, which comes down to a pipe, of course. Yeah, which is right back where we started. Unless, let me see if there's any other prying tools. No. Okay. So, a pipe. A pipe, as Coronet would say. You'd think that a bed would provide some pipes. This is a display rack, but I'm pretty sure it's wooden. I don't think there's pipes, but I can... Well, that is a pipe. Praise Jeebus. Perfect. Alright, we've got the crowbar, so now we can actually deconstruct the other ones. So that gave us 9 pipes. Alright, pipe shortage solved. That's excellent. So now we need the drill. Yeah, the makeshift hand drill. We'll use some nails, some splintered wood. You just slap that shit together. Fabrication 3, excellent. So that gave us nothing really, but we could make throwing axes. Look at all that shit required. Like, you know, all these tools to make throwing axes. They're not really that good. I mean, they're okay, I guess. Okay, it did give us makeshift bolts, so we can make that. You can also make simple wooden bolts, but nope. Ideally, we eventually move on to metal, but that's probably fabrication 4. Then I would say getting a better axe at some point, but that's going to be a lot trickier. Or can you use the adze to saw? No. No. No, you need a better axe to cut logs into planks. So then I think, yeah, we're just down to disassembling a lot of this house for planks and stuff. And, eventually venturing over to that mine. The mine will have a bunch of technician zombies, which aren't that dangerous, really. I think they can grab your weapon, right? Is that what they do? So that's not great. And then, but they'll have a lot of, like, rocks and, like, building materials and, like, things like that we might be able to use to up our fabrication more. So, for now, this is a solid start. Not really a wilderness start, but we're not in the middle of a city, so that's true. I mean, our resources are not abundant. So yeah, solid start. Again, I don't know when I'm going to upload this, or if I ever will, but it's just good fun. My name is Mangg. Gaming we've been watching has been Cataclysm Bright Nights. See you fine folks in the next part.